welcome to another episode of The Veil Flame. And today we are covering Jhessye Shockley. Everything that I say is alleged in the spirit, and this is for entertainment purposes only. This is also spirit led, so a lot of illusions surrounded by this. Okay, some people that did some very like hard work to bury this case. Okay, only a fraction of what we saw is even the truth. Okay, it's some type of motherly energy here. It's very guilty. Okay, temptation. It could be drugs or alcohol involved surrounding around this. Okay, I just feel like money was paid. Okay, money was paid, and this little girl knows. This shit wasn't no accident, y'all. It was done on purpose. Okay, the male figure here. I don't feel like this is the first time that the actual person, the male figure that's behind this, like this is his first time doing some shit like this. It's giving me like cult ties or like someone that has some type of higher knowledge or pull somewhere with other people that everybody else will be like, ain't no fucking way, but everybody's kind of like connected to everybody. It's not even about, what you know, it's about who you know, to be quite frank. That baby was still supposed to be here. She is like a descendant from some type of royal bloodline. And I feel like someone knew. Someone definitely like knew that she was a part of some type of royal bloodline. They always know before we get here. Like that's not a secret. You get what I'm saying? She was supposed to still live a little bit longer. You get what I'm saying? Before this unfortunate incident happened, but she's saying that this isn't just about her, but other little girls. It's families, okay? Whether they adopt the children or they are birthing these children, they make deals, okay? They make deals, contracts with, for some, I want to say entities. For some, I want to say like higher up, some type of, you know what I'm saying, elites. And they like sell the kids. They treat them like cattle. If you ever seen the anime, it's called The Promised Neverland. That's a good example where the kids are literally cattle. Their mothers are like maids for or pretending to be maids, and the kids think that they're all like orphans when their mothers could be like the lady of the house that's basically fatten them up, fatten them up, testing them to see how smart they are, to send them to other places. When they get to certain ages, they send them like to the black market in exchange, for demons. Like they made contracts with demons, okay, to have these kids offshore, off of in some type of whole nother land that's not even like technically on Earth, but through like a portal. I might be saying that wrong, but hey, whatever. But technically, like through a portal, it's not just open access. Like you really have to know where the fuck you're going, or what you're doing to open that sacred space. So I wanted to bring that up as well. She says this happens to a lot of little girls, and they they put it off as like kidnapping or murdering and like SA and like, when truth be told, yes, that is still factors in what they're doing, but they're fucking trafficking these little girls. They're taking them from their parents, or they're watching them, first of all, stalking them, okay, keeping eyes on them. And then once they are at a certain advantage, they're gonna get them. Her mother fucked up. Everybody that was in that home, and this was about a relationship, by the way, everybody that was in that home dropped the ball and fucked over that little girl. Her safety, okay, her sacredness, okay, everything that she stood for. All out of like ego, pride. Someone who's very money hungry, and y'all might not think that that person has a whole bunch of money or access to things, but they do. Someone here do. Okay, it's a male. Someone here does. Has a lot of different connections to people who are in different types of industries. Okay, it's a certain man that wears a suit. So white man. And he has like a special charm that he wears. It could be like a necklace or like a ring, okay? And she says that he's calling all of the shots, all right? Real older, old ass man. I don't feel like he's gonna kick the bucket just as of yet, but he got some grays upon him. I feel like he also may have like colored eyes, okay? He's behind this too. Like he owns like a portion of this shit. He calls a lot of the shots. He tells people what to do, what not to do, who they can and who they can't touch, what girls are like off limits, who not to speak to, when to shut the fuck up, because if his cover is blown, he could die, okay? His family could get killed. He has to hold up his end of the bargain. I don't feel like at first this is something that he wanted to do, but he got conned into doing it. This could be like through bloodline, like a family thing. I feel like he more so wants to be into like have a seat as a senator or some shit like that. Like he more so wanted that type of light versus, you know, the shit that he's doing behind the scenes. They're not just selling these little girls neither. They're like marrying them to people. Very rich men. Very like what one was deemed as resourceful type of men. And also older women are involved in this shit too. It's a lot of women that knows about the things that's going on. And they're not saying anything. Some of them can't. Some of them have taken an oath. And some of them are scared as fuck. Okay? They're scared. They don't even sleep at night. I see a lot of these girls being taken like all across the country. A lot of them aren't in like different states. Like no, they're being spreaded out, you know. And people are getting paid to turn a blind eye. Even from how they transport them. Very secretive. They hire people and pay them tons of money, okay, to transport these girls, okay, to the highest bidders for some of them. For some of them, they'd be like, oh, this is your new home. It's not a fucking home. It's a hell. It's a literal hell for them. And even when they pass, depending on their frequency before they pass, some of them still suffer even like outside of the vessel. So they need, you know, to be spoken about. Their names need to be said, you know. They need peace. It's also a lot of, I'm hearing bodies hidden in rivers, in grounds like around the world. And the police are also helping. It's some crooked ass police officers that's helping get rid of these bodies of these children. So even when like missing posters, pictures are getting posted on the milk carton, like, you know, online, the articles, there are be people that know where the fuck these children are. They just they can't say anything because they either been helped or they're a part of the organization. And it's only one or two ways out. So very difficult things I'm hearing to digest, okay? People act like there aren't predators and they come into your homes and prey on your children and just leave you kind of like lifeless. You know, for a lot of women, their children are their lifeline. You know what I'm saying? It's not just their lifeline, it's their lineage, it's their bloodline, it's their ancestral ties. It's so much just deeper than a child being a child. It'd be like a second or third life, you know, for a lot of these women in these families. So when it's taken away, it's kind of like unshakable. You know, the grievings that they go through, the processings that they go through mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Their spirits be battered as fuck behind the scenes. Even the ones who partake in the bullshit. Once it's all said and done and they get like that money or whatever the fuck they thought that they was gonna get outside of this, they be miserable. Their souls are like trapped, and they're living in a special type of hell. A lot of people think that hell is just like some random place. You know, hell can be other people. Hell can be, you know, your mind frame, your mindset. Some people wake up every day and they live in a hell. For some of these families and these mothers, they're being haunted, you know, by the spirit, whether they're in prison or not, jail or not, in any type of confinement, whether it be physically or spiritually. They're really dealt with. Like, this is not something that they're just simply getting away with. They have damn near eons in this lifetime and the next lifetime and shit, probably the next lifetime after that, to sort through the issues of evilness, okay, they have displayed on innocent souls. A lot of this start before the child is even in the womb. A lot of these families are connected to elites, whether they be in debt or through deals and contracts. It's been going on forever. So they know from the time that their children are in the womb and in a hospital bed what's going to happen. Not all of them, okay? But a good percentage child does. And that's why you don't see them after a while, or even if they end up in some type of confinement. We don't really get to hear much about them afterwards. They keep them kind of like out of the way. And some of them don't even always end up going into jail. What we see is only what they show us. Some of them end up in other places under new identities, living another life, doing the same shit. Some of them, not all of them. Or they sometimes end up dying from accidents after they complete the contract or the deal. It depends all upon, you know, what was in black and white. Some of them they sign in blood, so you know, whatever the fuck they signed is what happens. And sometimes even that is twisted because they add extra layers into the contracts so that they can't properly read them. A lot of angry ancestors, okay, surrounding cases like this, because these are pure souls. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are ancestors coming back. So a lot of these women and these men be fucking up their lineage and their bloodline doing these types of services and acts. Like, children are the closest thing to God. They're the closest thing to source. Whatever you want to call it, they are, point blank period. And when you do wrong by them, you never get to live a good life. People may think so on the outside, but internally, it's torture. For every single last living soul that has ever done anything to a child, okay, done their child wrong, even if they don't come out of their mouth and say it, or they use like coping mechanisms to kind of speed past their emotions or pedal through things so it's not what it seems, like they're hurting on the inside. A lot of them struggle from father and mother wounds anyways. You have to pay attention to certain signs, okay, from how they treat their children to how children respond around them. Sometimes children and animals, okay, will definitely tell you who is a fucking predator or anything of that nature, or if their energy isn't positive or correct, or if it's anything dark about them. They're going to tell you in subtle ways. It's just up to you to pay attention and figure this shit out. There's some situations where the kid doesn't like to talk about it. They can just feel it and they just know. But then you have those parental figures that they just feel they're being dramatic or they're overreacting to things when your kid could be saving you from dangers and other things that's coming for it that you may not understand. A lot of kids are very like sacred beings. They know a lot of different things. They've lived probably more fucking lifetimes than you. Shit than some of us. Their souls, a lot of their souls be ancient as fuck. And so when they come here to live out, you know, not just certain lessons, but they may be here to help you heal the lineage or the bloodline or teach you something about yourself. Or it's a multitude of things that as to why children come back or they come here. And it, not all the time, but most of the time it's an ancestor or a descendant or something. You're not here to like suffer. Earth is like a school, y'all. It is. But also for some people, Earth is imprisonment. So unfortunately, we have wickedness that comes to prey on innocent souls and innocent beings. Some of it just for them to get a kick out of it, but most of it is for gains, whether it be financially, whether it be spiritually, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, because they're just not, you know, trafficking these kids and moving them around and transporting them and stealing them from the incubators out of the hospitals and shit like that. and making money off of them, what they're stealing is their innocence. You know what I'm saying? Their innocence. When you don't have a lot of trauma, okay, that is like food for these beings. It's food for them, and what it does is it gives them like a high. It's like for some people, the best way I can explain it is like your first room trip, or like the first time you smoking like a blunt. And what you do after that, you try to recreate that same high. And so when you don't get that, or when you're trying to perfect something to get that same high, what you're gonna do? For some people, they'll go to some very crazy ass extremities to get that high in. So they're doing things to these children, okay, and they're stealing their innocence in multiple aspects. You know what I'm saying? To get a high, to remain youthful, for knowledge, for secrets. You know what I'm saying? For domination. It's for some just pure fucking evil. You know what I'm saying? They're wicked as fuck. A lot of them are wicked as fuck, and it's sad because you can't even go to like the FBI and the police and shit because they're crooked. A lot of them are dirty cops, dirty agents. So you pay them the right amount of money or you offer them the right shit, they're gonna turn a blind eye. It's like everybody has somebody in their back pocket. It don't matter. Some of them aren't crooked, but they end up getting killed, or they end up getting, sent to other places, or they may end up getting removed from certain cases, so they do not figure out what's going on. A lot of them, they keep it hidden from certain people. Not all of them are aware. Just a good lump sum. It's like a pact. It's like a pact. It's like a brother. For some, it's like a brotherhood. For some, it's like a sisterhood. So, yeah. It seems to be like a lot of, I want to say, abuse. And not even from people who were keeping her or where she was located and where she was staying, but like all around. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were being very deceptive, and just out of pocket. It's like this shit is not even a coincidence. It's really sad. They all failed this little girl. And I'm talking about bad. None of their asses is innocent. None of them. Some of them still lose sleep about it. But they knew. And instead of like getting this baby some milk or standing in, even if they want to get the police and law enforcement involved, they watched. They knew. This shit won't like no secret, Stuff was, I felt, unraveling in the house, and people were arguing about, what to do. And I kind of feel like, who to blame, but all of their asses is to blame. All of them could have did a lot better for her. A lot of this was about money. How could people benefit off of this change regarding money? Deals being offered. This shit was a fucking sacrifice. That's so sad. She was with her for a purpose. She had a very strong sense of purpose. Like I said, her spirit is not even a young spirit. Her spirit is very ancient. It's very old. She was definitely here to help that bloodline, but in return, they cursed themselves by moving with a wicked heart. Money is not everything. And it's not just, I feel abuse. It's even how they spoke to her and how, she was treated. It's like people want to feel bad, I want to say, for the mother figure. Her ass needs to be locked up under the prison. Is she not? Because she knew exactly what the fuck she was doing, and she was trying to hide it for years. She was very aware that this shit was going to happen. This shit was planned. This shit was a fucking set up. For her actions and her behaviors, though. And for what she allowed to happen to this little girl. I feel like her spirit and her soul is a lot lighter. Like, I see her in a dress with like barrettes in her hair. She's playing with like a toy, but yeah, like, despite her soul and her spirit feeling lighter, I don't feel hate from her soul or her spirit. I just feel more so like liberation. Like, finally somebody is saying what it was. And she says that they all took turns hurting her in one way or another, and they knew what was going to happen to her, and nobody tried to stop anything. And they were all being selfish, and it was part of some kind of sick ass little gang. She said some type of really big organization is behind this, and this is something that they do to a lot of different kids. It's not even just the missing kids, okay? The kids that get like swapped at birth, or the kids that are in like these foreign countries, okay? And you'll have like certain celebrities or elites go out there and say they're building a school, or they're giving them water, or some excuse of that nature, and that's not even what the fuck they doing. They out there trafficking them, selling them, treating them like their property. And it doesn't matter the gender. They're out there marrying a lot of the young little boys off too, to these rich folks, stealing their innocence, draining them of their essence. Very dark ass ritualistic ties and like ceremonial events happening, okay, where like you can see a child wearing wedding dresses and veils and shit like that, or and like they're holding their hands and shit. Even Shirley Temple is a good example how they was allowing her to drink. They was getting her drunk and allowing her around all of those grown men and nobody questioned it. Getting her drunk, getting her full of liquor, having her sit on them, kiss them, all the kind of weird ass shit, inappropriate ass shit. Them grown men was grooming that little fucking girl. And they was passing it off as like, you know, entertainment. But they had the truth in our face the whole time. They were exploiting their talents, her gifts, and her soul for their own gain. Just like they was doing them Disney stars. A lot of people may not like Orlando Brown, or they may not like a lot of things that he say, but some of the stuff that he says is not a lie. He's been through hell and back. A lot of them have. Justin Bieber is another good example. Hell and back. Childhood stars and how they exploit them, they groom them, they put them through the ringer, and then when they end up on drugs and they end up under like MK Ultra and for some of them cloned and shit, they try to blame everybody else or try to paint them out to be like these villainous people, but it was the industry. For some of them, it's their families, you know, that sign them up for all these kinds of things because they want that fucking money, they want that fame. A lot of them be having handlers. Shit, handlers could be in your regular life. Handlers could be, you know, the people who keep like close ties on you, don't want you to do too much, don't want you to do too little, you feel what I'm saying? Always want to be in your business, gotta know everything that you're doing, everywhere you're going, who you doing it with, why, and you won't even notice. You won't even notice. They could be in your life as your friend, as your parent, for some of y'all lovers. It happens. It definitely happens. And as soon as you get out of order, out of pocket, guess what? They there to snap your ass back into place. But this little girl is smart as shit. Like, she knew something was telling her. She didn't understand. She's very young. But she already knew she won't go make it past a certain age. Her soul knew.